All right, good morning and welcome back to the Alpha Primal vlog. Um,
Vlog and podcast. Welcome back.
Thanks for listening to our past podcasts that we've done before. We kind of talked about both of our journeys and we talked about why we started this Alpha Primal and what our goal is with it. Um, I think this week we're talking more about meal planning, and one of Patrick's aunts had come up to us and had suggested that we dive into more of that and how do you shop and how do you some like meal plan hacks. So we're just gonna kind of go deep dive into that.
Yeah, especially as school starts up, we have our schedules start changing. Um, how do we sort of navigate through that? Um, a lot of and specifically that we were receiving this information from had a child just go off to college as well as a child just move out on her own for the first time. So it's sort of like giving she was looking for suggestions on how to for them to continue to meal prep and shop smart and that kind of thing and between myself and Ashley has definitely been the one that's helped me a lot with my nutrition journey and helping me really dial in what I needed to do. So let's get started. Let's dive into it. What meal planning? What's the importance of meal prepping? Why do you do it?
So for me especially, and you as well, but during the week, I do have a 1 hour commute, both ways to and from work. So you add that on to work itself, and then if you want to get a workout in, by the time you get home, you don't really have the time to plan a meal if you or make a meal if you still want to go to bed at a decent time and get a good amount of sleep, because as we know, sleep is pretty important too. So
Yes.
getting those 8 hours. So
Yes, all those
especially
8 hours.
well, not right now with Arden, but maybe we'll get him back someday.
All 8 hours. Yeah. No, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
kind of making it the easiest way possible to eat healthy. The only way that I find that I can do that is by meal planning.
Mhm.
And like, we had talked about before, where you're not stopping for lunch at somewhere on the way or somewhere by work or ordering in
Right.
food. How do you avoid doing that? Well, you have to plan a meal. So I plan breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
Mhm.
and we just, have to heat it up. And or at dinner, throw some things together, 15 minutes, dinner's ready, because we don't have that time, that 30 minutes or an hour where you have to plan a whole meal and start from scratch. If that's something that you have, then that's different. So
And if
say
there's
you
something you enjoy doing, that's not because we enjoy cooking. That's not what it is.
And on the weekends we do, cook some meals and do that, but we just don't have time during the week.
Mm.
And you can always do it differently. If you have time for dinner but not breakfast and lunch, prep those two meals, or prep 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 the meals that you don't have time for. Is
Right.
basically what I'm saying.
Right. And you're on the go quite a bit. I mean, you're in your car quite a
Yeah.
bit. So I mean, you need to have access to be able to have lunch in your car if need be.
Right.
And not stopping off at that, like you touched on, not stopping off at Chipotle or I mean, even though there are healthier options out there, I know there are plenty of healthy options out there.
It's still
They're
not as good
never
for
going to be
you.
as healthy as what you make.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You don't have the oils that they cook in. You don't know exactly what is going into some of the stuff, and you can try, and those options are okay once in a while and when you need to do that, but for a everyday kind of thing, it's not ideal, and it's
Yeah.
not going to set yourself up for success to eat that way.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a big setting yourself up for that success during the week.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So meal prep is important because it cuts out the thought process and the time to, you don't come home and say, what am I going to eat today? Oh, I don't want to make that.
Mhm.
That seems like it's going to take a long time.
Mhm.
Let me just order something, or let me just, eat something less healthy. So having the food already there, you just heat it up, and you take the thought process out behind it, and you have your meals and they're healthy and nutritious, and you eat them because you don't want to waste it neither.
Yeah. Now, say, okay, yes, I like that. I think that's a great idea. I think that let's get started. What from your experience, what from your opinion is okay? I want that conscious. How do I get started? What do I do?
So I think there's two ways. For me, I'm pretty much good with eating the same thing Monday through Friday, breakfast, lunch, and mostly dinner. So I'll start on the weekend, either Friday or Saturday, by planning out the meals. So that's looking at the ads. We shop at Mariano's, so seeing what's on sale, what vegetables are on sale, see what meat you have in your freezer. If you have chicken or beef, use what you already have, and then kind of base your meals on that and what's on sale. So you're not always going to be going to the grocery store blind. You want to have an idea behind what you're going to buy.
Yeah.
So the first thing is,
So you're actually going through like the ads and everything and making sure whatever's on sale, that's what you're sort of going through. So you're doing a little research.
yeah.
Okay.
And then based on that, then you can plan your meals. So I have a list and I say breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So say for lunch, I have some ground beef in the freezer. So I'll go on Pinterest and I'll look up, Whole30 ground beef recipes. And that's a really great way
Why Whole30? For people that don't know what the Whole30 is.
Well, the Whole30 is just, that if you do Whole30 or paleo in front of the ingredient, then you're going to get an all-natural type recipe. So you're not going to get a lot of sugar, or no sugar. You're not going to get additives. You're going to get vegetables, meat, some carbs, some healthy fats, things like that into that recipe. So you can go on Pinterest, search Whole30 ground beef or Whole30 zucchini or paleo zucchini recipes, and then you'll come up with all the different ideas. Then for say that's lunch, then I'll write down all the ingredients I need and kind of see what do I have and what do we need to shop for.
Creating your shopping list as you go.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're creating your shopping list off of the ingredients you need for that recipe.
Right.
So that's kind of the best way that I found, and you can also use different cookbooks. One of the cookbooks that we have tried out is Cook Once, Eat All Week, and it's this woman who puts together, based off of some basic ingredients, she throws together 3 different recipes that you can make for dinner all week. So you prep everything on Sunday, and then you throw together the 3 different meals during the week. So that's a good thing if you don't like to eat the same thing every day and you want to change it up. Something like that cookbook is really great. Or, there's some other cookbooks out there like Whole30. It just depends if you want to invest in those or not. So those are another great planning tool. The other idea behind meal planning, if you don't like to eat the same thing, is the rule of 3s. And so the basics of it is that you pick out 3 proteins, 3 carbs, 3 fats, and then 3 veggies. And then you can mix and match them during the week. So I'll give you an example of each. So proteins, you have eggs, ground beef, bison,
Chicken.
Yeah.
Any sort, yeah, right.
And then carbs, you have rice, quinoa, potatoes, fruit, oatmeal,
Vegetable,
something like that.
Yep.
And then fats, you have avocados, you have olive oil, you have olives. So you have lots of different healthy fats there, grass-fed butter, and then the last one is veggies. So you have at least 3 different veggies. So you know that you're going to get 1 veggie in each meal. So obviously you guys know vegetables, zucchini, peppers, onions, etc.
Right.
So then with those rules of 3, then you can mix and match once you have them all kind of together. So you could cook up your ground beef, you could cook up your chicken, then you can decide, so today I'm going to have potatoes, chicken, and peppers for lunch. And then tomorrow you might have rice, chicken, and broccoli for lunch. So you can mix and match them together. So that's just kind of the rules of 3. You're getting those basics, and then you can mix them up how you'd like.
Yeah.
So those are the two best ways I found um, to kind of meal plan. Just having a good idea before you go to the grocery store. What are your ingredients that you need to buy, and sticking to that.
Yeah.
Sticking to the
Your list.
yeah.
And that's another thing that I've heard a lot of people like, and a lot of people like, would tell me, and they say, oh, I don't have the time to make up a menu. I'm like, and whenever I hear that, and it's funny to me that when I hear that, I'm like, you don't have the time. I mean, it's saving you money. You don't have the time to save yourself money.
Yeah.
Spend a little time, save yourself some money, and that's truly where it does start coming into play. It's like if you want to take away, if for at least from my mind standpoint, and what Ashley sort of introduced me to, because like I always understood the importance of meal prepping, but I was always the type of person who's like, I'm just gonna outwork my bad diet, my bad habits.
Yeah.
Um, but then it started getting into more of like a financial thing, and we were looking at the financial side of things, and I was like, why am I spending so much stupid money on running out and getting something like time? I don't save time. I don't save money. I don't save anything when I go and do this quick, so-called quick meal. I'm doing air quotes for those who are listening. Those who are getting this quick meal, I'm not saving anything by doing this, really. I mean, I can spend, and truly, the more you do it, the better you do get at it. So it's easier to find those recipes. It's easier to plan out,
To change them up and
to change it out. I mean, there have been times where her and I have sat across from each other and not even looked at a Pinterest post or a cookbook, and we're just like, oh, we're just going to throw X, Y, and Z together, and it turns out to be a great meal. I mean, it's just the more we do it, it seems the better we are getting
and you
at
can
it.
adapt different recipes. Okay, this time we use ground beef, but how can we, make it a little different this time?
Right. Or say in the summertime when we're getting a bunch of vegetables from our family, like from your parents, my parents, our own little garden here, the vegetables that we're getting in there, being able to adapt our recipes to what we're getting in seasons and different stuff like that. Yeah, fresh. Right.
And some other ways to kind of make it easier about the time constraint too is that so you plan your meals on Friday night or Saturday morning, and then what we do is we grocery shop on Saturday. We start first thing Saturday morning. There's not a lot of people there if you go super early.
Yeah,
Just so
I
you know.
love that. I hate being around people. Well, I don't hate being around people, but
But the grocery store people you might.
oh my gosh, yeah.
So you do your grocery shopping on Saturday, and then you meal prep on Sunday. So you're cutting out the time.
Yeah.
You're not doing like shopping and
It's not
prepping
an all day endeavor
right.
on that Sunday.
Break it up, and
Right.
you could even grocery shop on Friday if you
Right.
had more time. So then Sunday you wake up, you meal prep your meals within 2 to 3 hours. Sometimes less depending on what kind of things that you make. Um,
Oh yeah, there have been mornings where you and I have worked together in the kitchen. I mean,
And if you have help, so you can
right.
have your spouse help you. If you have
Knock that out
kids,
loud,
you can have your kids help you. You want to teach them how to eat healthy. So this is the best way to do it. Help them learn how to make some of these things. So
Yeah, that is actually a good point. That's one thing that I'm pretty excited about, getting Arden in on the family, and just sort of having her with us while we spend that, because that's a really important time for us to spend together when we're in the kitchen together cooking, and then the meals that we do sit down and have together. I mean, that's important time for us as a family. So having that to sort of gather around and do, that's exciting. That is fun.
yeah, I definitely agree. And it's a priority for us. So it's making it into her life. So we're teaching her how to eat healthy.
Okay, so that's another question. Why, when and why has that become such a priority? I know you went into it a little bit into your back when we talked about your background in the second episode here. Um, but there's a big priority for you, at least when I see you, that it's a consumes some of the time, your mental space that you
Yeah.
have here. Why, what started that?
I mean, it's just basically I know that if I eat this way, I'm going to feel the best. So I have to make it a priority to make the food so I eat the healthiest and I feel the best. If I have to And, I'm a really time conscious person. So, every kind of minute of my day is already kind of calculated, and I don't want to spend a lot of extra time in the kitchen, but I do want to eat healthy, and that is a priority for me. I feel better. I have more energy. Those are things that you kind of make a priority once you realize what the difference is from eating this one way or eating another way, how you feel, and you want to feel better,
Yeah.
obviously.
So what would you tell someone that's sitting there saying, yes, I agree, but it's expensive. There's a real, I don't know how, I guess there's ways to go about making it less expensive, but how have you found is the best way to keep the cost down but still eating healthy, shopping smart, that?
Like I said before, definitely looking at the ads and what is on sale. And then the other thing is shopping at different places like Aldi or Costco, where they have
Mm-hmm.
some cost effective options. You can get some good produce from Aldi that's not as expensive. You
True.
can go to Costco or Sam's Club and buy in bulk, and um, you'll have the same vegetable for a week or two, and it's half the cost.
Yeah.
You can also
The
look.
meat there too. I mean,
Yeah,
you can buy 5 pounds of chicken, throw it in your freezer. Yeah,
yeah.
true.
And you can also look at different things like we do Butcher Box, which is a grass fed um, beef, and uh, it's a really great source for protein.
Mm.
So we get a lot of our meat from Butcher Box,
Yeah.
and they have different sales and they have different promotions. So there's different ways to get extra meat and get extra protein for the week that way.
Yeah.
And then the other way that you could kind of save is also you can buy frozen vegetables. You don't necessarily always have to get the fresh. So if there's something
Like
that's on
at your
sale,
Costco again, or even
yeah,
local grocery store.
if there's something that's on sale that week, you can add that into your planning.
Mm-hmm.
So
Takes a little bit of that mental fortitude. But you're absolutely right. I mean, if you research, if you do the right prep work, you can really find the good deals. You can sort of navigate through that cost factor. I think a lot of people, and maybe it's starting to turn with a lot more grocery stores implementing more all natural, organic type of foods, that the cost of that is starting to go down. But I still think there are people who truly believe in the organic is more expensive. And
yeah, and it is. But if you can't afford that, then it's okay to get the regular vegetables or
right,
the frozen.
right,
You don't if you can afford organic and that, then yes, make that a priority. But if you can't, then that's okay too.
right.
You're still going to get more nutrients from the regular, vegetables. And if you do have extra money and you can do organic, you can also do things like buying pre-cut vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing now. They have
Mm-hmm.
at a lot of Whole Foods or different stores. They already have the
Take out
peppers.
some of the prep work
Yeah, they have the
involved.
peppers
Yeah,
cut up.
yeah.
They have the Brussels sprouts cut up. So if you have a little extra cash and you want to buy the cauliflower rice and the things that are already done for you, then that's an additional way to save time on meal prepping.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then the other thing that we kind of want to talk about is ideas of saving time. Say you don't want to spend 3 hours meal prepping. Well, there are different meals that you can make that are quicker. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can make something in an Instapot. You can make something in a crock pot.
Oh God, I love that. The Instapot is magic to me.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I love it.
I think those are, important tools to kind of have in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Like sometimes on Saturday night, we'll start a roast in the crock pot, and by the morning it's cooked. So, that's almost one meal. And
That's something that if not everybody's woken up to a
it makes you feel good.
to a crock pot like roast in there, oh, you haven't lived. You wake up to a crock pot roast, it'll change. You want to do your crock pot every day. Then it's amazing. I love it. No, I
And
agree.
then you're hungry.
And then you're hungry. But I mean, but same thing with going to work. I mean, it's nice that we've done that before, where we put something in the crock pot before work, and then coming home to that smell.
Yeah.
Especially after if like there happened to be a day where I happened to fast a little bit longer, and I come home to that smell, and my entire house smells like that. Oh, oh, that's
Yeah.
love.
So there's some different recipes and different kind of things that you can make that are take less time,
Yeah.
like a crock pot.
Right.
For breakfast, you can make an egg bake, which is super easy. You roast some of the veggies, then if you want to throw some extra meat in there, like some sausage or bacon, then you throw the eggs and you bake that, and you can get it started. It might take 40 minutes to cook, but it only took 10 minutes to prep,
Right.
and you're doing other prep while that's cooking.
And the nice thing about those egg bakes is it's just so versatile. There's so many different things that you can do with different proteins, different vegetables, different starches. I mean, you could do it is a fun little project, real simple. Yeah.
And you can change them up to stuff you put on it.
Yeah.
Add avocado the day of, add salsa the day of, So there's different ways that you can make it so it's not the same every week. You
Right.
can make one like
Right.
more of a Mexican style, one more
Experiment.
Italian. Yeah,
Have fun.
exactly. So another really easy meal is a loaded salad. Like I don't know.
The loaded salad. Taco salads are my favorite.
Yeah, salad used to be like so basic to me, but now, I mean, I don't even need salad dressing. I do
Right.
spinach, tomatoes. Sometimes I'll add sauteed peppers and onions. You add some
Little
ground beef,
pepperoncinis in there. Throw those little pepperoncinis.
and then a lot of times I'll just use avocado as my dressing. So
Yeah.
we cut the avocado up. Typically I make it at work, so then I put it all in one Tupperware. I shake it up so it's all mixed up, and the avocado I use enough so it's like a dressing.
Mhm.
But you can also get different dressings, like from Primal Kitchen. They
We
have
do a
some
lot with that Primal Kitchen stuff.
good dressings there
Yeah.
too. So a loaded salad is also a really easy meal prep. All you have to do is get all those vegetables that you want to throw in it, and then make the meat. And the day of, you just have your meat and your vegetables already cooked or already put together. Throw it all in, and there's your lunch.
In the car.
And you can change that up too. You can make it, change up the veggies, change up the dressing, change up, yeah. So there's a lot of different ways so that you're not like, oh, I'm eating the same salad every week. It's so boring. No.
Yeah, for people who sit there like, oh, I just don't want to sit there and eat salads all the time. I'm like, you could do so much with salads too. Just like you can do so much with egg. You could do so much with salads.
You can add potatoes to it.
It's very, very close-minded thinking when you just think it's lettuce and
tomatoes
and then you have your dressing. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Grow a little bit.
So, and then the other basic kind of meal template that I like to go off of is, and we could post a picture of it, is if you think of like how the plate is, half of the plate being vegetables, a quarter of the plate being your protein, so chicken, beef, and then the other quarter of the plate being a carb, potato, rice, oatmeal, a piece of fruit, something like that. So if you just go off of that, if you think dinner, okay, dinner, I'm eating chicken, a baked potato, and broccoli. Or I'm eating steak with some rice and peppers, or, mushrooms, whatever. So you could kind of just do, and that kind of goes back to that rule of threes, combine them easily.
What, going back to that my plate thing, this is a big trend that I want to sort of debunk a little bit here. That's what this is for. That's what this video blog is for. It's to help people understand certain things. I love the my plate design. Protein. I think we are a society who takes way too much protein. If the first thing that you're doing when you're sitting there saying, I want to get into a workout program, and you want to say, and all of a sudden it's like you're taking protein shakes and all you're having is chicken and broccoli. That's the 3 meals that you're having. Like, you need to stop. We need to start understanding what protein is, what the proper portions are. Carbs are not bad for you. Vegetables are not bad for you. Fruit is not bad for you. For people who said there's a lot of sugar in fruit, come on. Come on, let's be real. What real sugar is and what big sugar is.
And it depends where you're getting your sources from. So if your carbs are all from grains and
Chips
bread,
and yeah,
then that is a problem.
Right.
But if your carbs are coming from potatoes, then and fruit, then that's different. You want to look at the most natural um, food that you can fuel your body with.
Right.
It doesn't mean
Less ingredients in your food that you're putting in your food, the better.
Yeah.
Sweet potato, it's one ingredient. Broccoli,
I think there was
one ingredient.
I heard like 5 ingredients or less is what you want to aim for.
In your
Like going to the grocery store, buying something, look at that ingredient list and see how many things are in there. Can you even pronounce half of them?
That's a good point.
So you probably shouldn't eat it.
That's a good point. So do you look at the back in nutrition facts? Are you a nutrition fact reader?
I don't look at nutrition facts. I look at ingredients.
Ingredients. Okay.
So that's also something that Whole30 kind of taught me is when you actually look at the ingredients of stuff, you don't realize how much sugar is in everything. And
everything.
And they try to mask it with different names like dextrose or even like honey, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be careful. And just how many different things are in your food that you don't even really know what they are. So it's like, maybe I think we were at your parents' and we were looking at a can of soup and we were like, what is all of these? What are all these things?
It had so many ingredients. It was very shocking.
And you know how good soup is if you can make it yourself in a crock pot or in the Instapot.
Favorite thing to do.
Super easy and delicious.
Also because I like a loaded soup. My soup really borders on the stew end. So Campbell's it doesn't hold a candle to what the types of soups that I can make in the crock pot. So that's another tip that you would start telling people is just start reading the ingredients. Okay.
And like you said, when you buy a sweet potato, the only ingredient is sweet potato.
Right.
So your best option is to eat.
Don't go looking for the nutritional fact or the ingredients label on a sweet potato. It's just sweet potato.
So your best option is to just eat those natural foods.
Yeah. Right.
So we could kind of post some different things.
We do. We post a lot of our meals that I'm going to tell all the meals that we post on there are all natural, no additives, no sugars. So use our website too if there's things because it can sometimes be a little tricky when you're looking at Pinterest and other websites. It's like, oh, is it really no everything that I need, no dairy, no gluten, no this, no that. Most of the stuff that we put, we don't really put dairy in most of the stuff. We don't use sugar in any of our meals. So that our Facebook page is a good resource to use.
And I also post kind of the plate template that I like to follow. It is a Whole30 one, but it's a really great starting point if you want to look at that for planning your meals, to kind of just base it off of.
Yeah.
So we'll post that below, as well as just kind of like the rule of threes again, so that you have something to look back at besides just listening to what we say.
Listening to our beautiful voices.
Yes. I think that's about it.
Yeah. So I did get everything uploaded onto SoundCloud. So from now on, I will also post a link into SoundCloud for those of you who are listening and want to sort of take this on the road and listen to it while you're in your car or while you're out and about, busy, working out. If you want to listen to us when you're working out, I'll give you some pump up, motivational end of this.
When you're going on a walk.
So the YouTube and SoundCloud as well. Next week, I will actually be going over a little bit of starting out, how to start moving, how to start getting moving, how to start the basics of a movement mindset. Let's say a movement mindset. That's more. And Arden's over there. She wants to get in on this too. So.
Thanks so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you again. Thank you, Ashley. I'm so glad you took us through that. If you have any questions,
let us know. send it to our email, alphaprimal18@gmail, or send us a message or send us a text because you probably have our number.
I was going to say, you probably have our number. Shoot us a text. Tell us what our next episode should be. All right, guys.
All right, bye.
Have a good one.